Welcome to Amplifyre's interview series. My name is Kristian, and joining me today is the CEO and founder at Amplifyre, Mateusz Chechlinski. Mateusz, welcome to the series, my friend. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for your invitation.
I'm happy to have you on today because we're talking about app development, from concept to realization. So Mateusz, maybe you can start by walking me through the process of starting an app development project, especially if, I have an idea for a product but need to validate its viability.
Of course. Well, when an idea for an innovative product or service is born in your head, you usually begin to lay out a vision of what the product or service would look like in its final form. But to begin with, however, you should ask yourself, how can I test whether my idea makes sense in the first place? So what you should do is ask yourself, what is the core of my innovation? What is the smallest piece of a product that makes it unique? This smallest core is often called a proof of concept. It doesn't have to be a complete solution. Often it doesn't even have to work at all, as long as it allows you to validate the concept itself. Let's say if you want to develop a software as a service based on some kind of subscription, then for a proof of concept, you might start with a simple static website which offers the service, whatever it is, and then after the user clicks on subscribe button, you can actually bring them to notify me when the service is ready website. So this is not a working product, right? As the user cannot actually subscribe to your service, but you can check what % of users will actually convert into clients. The tricky part here is that it is relatively simple to mistake users' curiosity with a genuine will of becoming an actual customer. So when designing the proof of concept, when designing this experiment, you should put very much attention to how you check whether the user is actually willing to become your customer.
So after, a successful proof of concept, so we get to that point, what are the most common next steps for app development project in terms of, resource allocation, such as outsourcing versus in-house development or, utilizing open source solutions?
Well, it strongly depends on the nature of your project, but if only possible, I would advise you to check whether at least part of your product can be implemented with ready solutions. There is a vast market of open source solutions that are easy to install and configure, but also easy to adapt in the future, like WordPress for websites or PrestaShop for e-commerce. You can also try out some no-code solutions, with the downside being that while they are great for creating and moving mockups, they might not necessarily be appropriate for scaling up. A great alternative are low-code solutions, which intend to simplify the most common tasks, but still allow you to customize as much as you need, like, let's say, a Python framework called Django. It is generally a good idea to include an experienced technological partner from the very beginning. At Appotype, we work a lot with early-stage startups, and we can help you set the scope of your first proof of concept, choose the best technology for quickly building, but also scaling up your product later. In-house development is recommended when you already at least reach such stage that you have obtained financing that provides you with liquidity for the next 12-18 months. Otherwise, you may have to quickly say goodbye to your great team.
Oh, it's super interesting, and seeing how fast tech moves nowadays, and the capabilities of working remotely and having those opportunities. Speaking of you're giving for the next 12 to 18 months, we got to talk about when it comes to ensuring the long-term success of an app. What are some key considerations such as scalability or the use of cloud computing that a company should keep in mind?
Well, first consideration I already mentioned before, it is your ability to go from a moving mockup to an actual product. For that, you can choose low-code solutions or, popular lately, declarative programming. In one of our latest works, we decided to create a mockup already with a declarative programming. which we then quickly turned into a ready proof of concept by simply replacing those mocked parts with an actual business logic with no changes to the user interface. Another key consideration is scalability. So for that, we often use cloud computing, which allows us to create a safe network environment at a low cost, and we can easily replace one machine with a more powerful one when we see that there is enough move from the network on our service. But here, one key consideration is that at some point you will no longer be able to grow by simply purchasing a more powerful machine. You will have to create the entire network of those. And for that, you need, well, some technical knowledge. So again, using experience of a technological partner can help you a lot with that.
So it's an interesting time to be in the product development stage for any company. So if people are interested in finding more about what you guys do at Apotype, where can they go?
Well, you can always find us through our website, apotype.eu, where you will find out more about what we do, what services do we offer. And you can also find us on the LinkedIn or Facebook.
Brilliant. So go check out Apotype, follow them on the social medias, reach out to them if you got any questions. Mateusz, finally, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great day.